Hello, Nitin.
Yes, Sugam.
Start introduction to Pragya. Then we proceed.
Okay, good evening, all of you. I welcome all of you in today's webinar. So today's lecture is presented by Miss Pragya Arora. So before he starts his presentation, I would like to introduce her. She did her BSc from Delhi University and also MSc Chemistry from University of Delhi. And now she is a PhD student at IIT Kanpur. Over to you, Pragya.
Thank you, Nitin. Good evening, everyone. I am Pragya. I am here to present my presentation for this general discussion, where I'll be discussing different models which are inspired from cytochrome P450 for the generation of iron 5 oxo intermediates. In nature, we see different kind of metal oxygen species like metal oxo, metal superoxo, metal peroxo. These species are present in the different metal enzymes and are capable of performing various applications like hydrogen atom transfer, oxygen atom transfer, water oxidation catalysis, electron transfer reactions, etc. Considering cytochrome P450, which has this iron 2 methane present in the active state, with a porphyrin ligand having a cysteine amino acid in the axial position, in the presence of oxygen, electrons, and protons, there is formation of this iron 3 hydroperoxide intermediate. Due to the presence of amino acid in the distal side, there is an assistance in the cleavage of this oxygen-oxygen bond that leads to the formation of iron 4 oxo radical cation, which is also called compound 1. This is the active species for the enzyme. This is capable of performing various applications like alkane hydroxylation, anion oxidation, alkene epoxidation, aromatic hydroxylation, sulfur oxidation, etc. So scientists try to mimic the natural design by incorporating the feature of this iron 3 hydroperoxide and molecules that might mimic the function of these amino acids. They use ligand frameworks, tetradentate ligand frameworks that offer two cis labile sites, so that on one of the labile site there could be incorporation of this hydroperoxoadduct, and on the other side molecules could be introduced that might behave in the similar fashion that these amino acids are doing. So I'll be discussing three different models where people have used water, acetic acid, or Lewis acid to generate iron 5 oxo species. For the three models, the first requirement is first to generate the iron 3 hydroperoxo intermediate. Larry and co-workers in 2004 generated this intermediate where they used iron 2 TPA complex. In the presence of hydrogen peroxide at -40 degrees Celsius, they generated the intermediate and characterized it via various spectroscopic techniques. The UV visible spectra shows a band at 540 nanometer. EPR tells that the G values are around 2, which suggests that the species is a S is equal to half species. That means it is a D5 low spin species. Most mass spectrometry tells that, okay, someone is drawing something. Shall I continue?
Yes, you continue. Dr. Pushpender is here. He's drawing something. Please do not draw anything. And if you have any doubt, you can ask in the last section. You can just note your slide number.
Okay, I'm sorry for the background noise if there is any. Okay, so in the in the mass spectrometry, the value at M by Z value at 478 can be formulated in this fashion. Resonance Raman confirms that the intermediate generated contains iron oxygen stretching frequency at 624 and an oxygen oxygen stretching frequency band at 803, which upon labeling shifted to 605 and 759. That confirms that the species generated is iron 3 hydroperoxo. Once this iron 3 hydroperoxo species has been generated, this OO bond may undergo cleavage in two ways. It could undergo a homolytic cleavage pathway to form iron 4 oxo intermediate, or it may undergo heterolytic cleavage pathway to generate iron 5 oxo species. So one may expect that after generating this iron 3 hydroperoxide, they might observe iron 4 oxo or iron 5 oxo in the reaction mixture. Hence, these are some spectroscopic trends that will be followed for the possible intermediates. Raman stretching frequency that provides the stretching frequency data. So for the case of iron oxygen species, the iron oxygen in bond, the stretching frequency will follow this trend. As stronger the bond, more will be the stretching frequency. So for the case of iron 5 oxo species, the stretching frequency will be higher than iron 4 oxo, which will be higher than iron 3 hydroperoxo. Mossberg spectroscopy that provides the isomer shift value. For the case of iron complexes, higher the oxidation state, lower is the isomer shift value. Hence, you can see that for the iron in a +5 oxidation state, for these species, the value of isomer shift is lesser than those which have +4 oxidation state, and it is further less than that which has +3 oxidation state. EPR spectroscopy would be helpful in distinguishing whether the species contains a half integral spin or integral spin. Generally, we use perpendicular mode EPR that shows only half integral spin complexes that shows signal for that only. So for the complexes that have integral spin, there will be no signal in the EPR. Starting with the first model, as we have already seen that upon using TPA iron 2 complex, in the presence of hydrogen peroxide, there is generation of this iron 3 hydroperoxo species. Now, when substrate like cis-alkene were introduced in the reaction mixture, it was observed that this substrate undergo oxidation to form products like cis-diol and epoxide. When labeled water was used, labeling experiments were performed. It was observed that the products contain this labeled oxygen. So actually the incorporation of this labeled oxygen discards the possibility of iron 3 hydroperoxide to be the active species, since this iron 3 hydroperoxide cannot exchange its oxygen with water. Further, when kinetic experiments were performed, it was observed that this iron 3 hydroperoxide is undergoing a first order exponential decay. That means it is independent of the amount of, independent of the substrate concentration. And further, when its decay was studied with the different concentration of water, it was observed that when more equivalents of water were used, the decay was actually faster. Now, to understand how water is accelerating the decay of this iron 3 hydroperoxide species, when kinetic isotope experiments were performed, it was observed that when deuterated water was used, the rate of decay was actually slowed down. Hence, it was proposed that as soon as the water replaces the 6 coordinating site occupied by this acetonitrile solvent, there is a possibility of this oxygen-hydrogen bond cleavage in the decay of this iron 3 hydroperoxide intermediate. Hence, it was proposed that the water present in the 6 coordinating site, its proton is doing hydrogen bonding interaction with the terminal oxygen and is assisting the cleavage of this oxygen-oxygen bond. Now, there are two possibilities again. This oxygen-oxygen bond may undergo homolytic cleavage to form iron 4 oxo aqua species, or it may undergo heterolytic cleavage to form iron 5 oxo hydroxo species. Since the substrate was undergoing oxidation to form cis-diol as the product, such stereo retention won't be observed if a radical pathway is followed. Hence, the possibility of iron 4 oxo aqua species was discarded, and rather it was proposed that iron 5 oxo hydroxo is forming. Further evidence for the formation of iron 5 oxo hydroxo was provided by Bostas and co-workers in 2011 by mass spectrometry. They used this tetradentate ligand framework. They performed various labeling experiments. In the first experiment, they used unlabeled hydrogen peroxide and unlabeled water. This time they obtained the M by Z value of 486 that could be formulated in this fashion. In the second experiment, when they labeled one of the reagent, that is when they labeled water but not hydrogen peroxide, a shift of +2 was obtained. In the third experiment, when they labeled hydrogen peroxide but not water, again a peak at 488 was observed. In the fourth experiment, when they labeled both the reagents, a peak at 490 was observed. These 4 experiments and the gradual shift from 486 to 488 upon labeling one of the reagent and a shift to +4 upon labeling both the reagents suggests that the active species generated contains one oxygen from hydrogen peroxide and the other oxygen is coming from water. Hence, it was proposed that as soon as the water comes to the 6 coordinating site, it removes the terminal OH in the form of water and generates iron 5 oxo hydroxyl species. Further evidence for this was provided by infrared photodissociation spectroscopy, where the modified TPA ligand framework was used. This time, iron 3 hydroperoxide was obtained at 544 nanometer in the UV visible spectra. When mass spectrometry was performed, the M by Z value of 424 could be formulated in two fashions. It could be iron 3 hydroperoxo, it could be iron 5 oxohydroxo. Now to check which of the two formulation is actually the correct one for the intermediate generated, infrared photodissociation spectroscopy was performed. You can see in the lower left figure, the black spectra is showing two peaks, which is 638 and 827. When iron was labeled with 54 isotope, it was observed that the 638 peak shifted to 642 and 827 peak shifted to 829, which confirms that the correct formulation is iron 5 oxohydroxo, and the band the 638 peak is corresponding to iron oxygen single bond stretching frequency, and the peak at 827 is corresponding to iron 5 double bond oxygen stretching frequency. Hence, in the first model, via kinetic studies, via labeling experiments, via mass spectrometry, and via infrared photodissociation spectroscopy, these chemists provide the evidence for the formation of iron 5 oxohydroxo species. In the second model, when in place of water, acetic acid was used, it was observed that substrate like cyclooctene were undergoing epoxidation majorly. When tried the reaction with different kind of ligand frameworks like BPMAN or TPA, the results show that in the absence of acid, when there was water, there were considerable amount of diol product. That means hydroxylated products were there. But when acid was used, there was epoxide as a major product. To understand the reaction mechanism clearly, when stepwise reaction was followed, it was observed that once this hydrogen peroxide generates this iron 3 hydroperoxo species, when acid is introduced, the iron 3 hydroperoxide band at 540 nanometer decreases and a band at 722 nanometer appears. This species was, when checked with the EPR studies, it was found that it was EPR silent. Hence, the species was claimed to be iron 4 oxo. Now to check whether this iron 4 oxo, is it responsible for the conversion of cyclooctene to epoxide product? To check this possibility, when in the same reaction mixture where iron 4 oxo has already been generated, substrate was introduced. This time, when a reaction was studied with UV visible spectroscopy, it was observed that this 722 nanometer band decayed and the product obtained, which is epoxide, but it was less than 10%. These yield results are not matching the initial yield results where the epoxide was a major product. Hence, the possibility of iron 4 oxo to be the active oxidizing species was discarded. Further, to understand how the acetic acid present in the 6 coordinating site is assisting the decay of this iron 3 hydroperoxo, kinetic isotope experiments were performed, and it was observed that when deuterated acetic acid is used, the rate of decay is actually less. That suggests the possibility that this oxygen-hydrogen bond is involved in the decay of this iron 3 hydroperoxide intermediate. Similar to the case of water-assisted mechanism, it was observed that the proton or the acid is doing hydrogen bonding interaction with the terminal oxygen of this iron 3 hydroperoxide intermediate and is assisting the cleavage of this oxygen-oxygen bond. This oxygen-oxygen bond may undergo cleavage to generate iron 5 oxo acetato species in case of acetic acid. If substrate are present in the reaction mixture, the species is so powerful that it does the epoxidation of this substrate and generates epoxide as the major product, and a minor product, which is cis-hydroxy acetoxy product. The product analysis tells that this acetato group coming in the minor product favors that the active oxidizing species contains this acetato group. Also, as we have seen before in the UV visible spectra, there was formation of this 722 nanometer band for iron 4 oxo species. Formation of this iron 5 oxo acetato species actually favors this generation of this species, as it provides that evidence by the product analysis again. If this species undergoes decarboxylation, there will be formation of a R radical. In case of phenyl acetic as the acid used, the R radical will be a PHCH2 radical. This radical may interact with the oxygen to form benzaldehyde as a product, which can be seen in the product results, as the benzaldehyde is the only product obtained when no substrate was present. That means these are the two competitive pathways that will be followed. If substrate are present, the active oxidizing species will cause its oxidation, and if substrates are not present, it will be converted into iron 4 oxo species along with the only product of benzaldehyde. Further evidence for the formation of iron 5 oxoacetato species was provided by Serrano and co-workers in 2015, where they used this type of PYMA thrice as a tetradentate ligand. Here they used peracetic acid. When they performed UV visible spectra, they observed that a band at 490 nanometer was obtained. This is the time trace for that band. It obtained maxima and then self-decayed after this time period. When EPR studies were followed, it was found that EPR was showing two kind of signals. Two EPR signals were observed, where one was at with 5% yield, and the other one was at 40% yield. Both the signals were showing G values around 2. That suggests that both the species are S is equal to half species. That means it contains half integral spin. So it could be iron 3 or iron 5. Further, when kinetic experiments were performed simultaneously with the EPR studies, it was observed that the blue signal, this blue EPR signal, and the red EPR signal, they were forming with the equal rates and they were dying with the equal rates. That suggests that these two species are in dynamic equilibrium with each other. Mossberg studies were performed to check the oxidation state for these intermediates. It was observed that in the first spectra, you can see there are multiple contaminant spectra are there. When by spectral simulation, those contaminants were removed, the red spectra was obtained. That had an isomer shift value of minus 0.08. This value is in the trend that the value for iron 5 species has an isomer shift value lesser than the iron 4, which is lesser than the iron 3. It is favoring the isomer shift trend and supports that the active oxidizing species generated in the reaction mixture has a +5 oxidation state. Further evidence for the formation of iron 5 oxoacetato was provided by mass spectrometry, where instead of peracetic acid, when deuterated peracetic acid was used, the initial 528 M by Z value shifted to 531. Such shift by +3 value could only be possible if the active oxidizing species contains this iron 5 oxoacetato group, and it got replaced by a deuterated acetato substituent. So by CH3 got replaced by CD3. This acetato got replaced by a deuterated acetato. That suggests that the active oxidizing species contains this formulation, where iron 5 is the iron 5 oxoacetato is the active oxidizing species. In the third model, it was observed that once this iron 3 hydroperoxide species has been generated, when substrates like benzene and cyclohexene were introduced, there were no sign of oxidation of these substrates. The A by K value and the pKi value, that is alcohol to ketone ratio, and the pKi value is product kinetic isotope effect value. These values suggest that when no additives are there with these substrate, the oxidant generated is very not so powerful. But when substrates like Lewis acid and iron 3 salts were introduced, the A by K value and the pKi value suggest that now the oxidant generated is a powerful metal-based oxidant that is capable of oxidizing these substrates to phenol or cyclohexanol or cyclohexanone-like products. When the reaction was studied with in the UV visible spectroscopy, it was observed that after generation of this iron 3 hydroperoxide species at 545 nanometer, when substrate like benzene and the Lewis acid were introduced, there was formation of this blue peak. Intense blue band was observed at 620 nanometer, which was claimed to be because of iron 3 phenolato. Hence, it was proposed that once Lewis acid are introduced in the reaction mixture, the iron 3 hydroperoxide species must have undergone a heterolytic cleavage to form iron 5 oxo as the oxidizing species. There could be another possibility as well. If this iron 3 hydroperoxide in the reaction mixture undergoes a homolytic cleavage, there could be formation of iron 4 oxo species, And it was hypothesized by the author that if this iron 4-oxo has been generated, the Lewis acid are introduced with the reaction mixture that may interact with the iron 4-oxo to generate these kinds of adduct, and maybe these adducts are responsible for the conversion of benzene to phenol. To check this hypothesis, when control experiments were performed, it was observed that no sign of phenol was there. Separately, iron 4-oxo was generated and Lewis acid were introduced, but no sign of phenol was there. That discards this hypothesis and supports that the Lewis acid are actually assisting in the heterolytic cleavage to form iron 5-oxo as an active oxidizing species. Thus, it was proposed that in the third model, when the Lewis acid are introduced, there is heterolytic cleavage of this O-oxygen-oxygen bond to generate iron 5-oxo species that might have reacted with the substrate like benzene and phenol, benzene and cyclohexane to form these iron 3 phenolatos kind of species, which are visible in the at 620 nanometer in the UV visible spectroscopy. In the presence of hydrogen peroxide, there will be regeneration of this iron 3 hydroperoxide along with the oxidized product. There are other reports as well to generate iron 5-oxo intermediates, for example, with the TUML ligand. TUML is a tetraamide of 4 negatively charged ligand. Collins and co-workers used iron 3 TUML complex, and in the presence of reagents like MCPBA, they generated iron 5-oxo TUML complex. They synthesized this intermediate at minus 60 degrees Celsius. But after this, when Professor Sen Gupta worked, he modified the ligand framework where he used N-methyl group in the ligand framework here. And he was able to generate this TUML 5-oxo modified complex at room temperature. There are other reports as well to generate iron 5-oxo TMC complex, where they have generated this complex from the iron 4-oxo TMC complex by a 1 electron oxidation. The data observed favors that since the isomer shift value is lower than the for the isomer shift value of the substrate, it favors that the species generated is the iron 5-oxo species. In summary, I discussed that how various research groups took cytochrome P450 as inspiration and tried to incorporate the feature of this iron 3 hydroperoxide and the amino acids role by using different kind of molecules. They use a tetradentate ligand framework that offer 2 cis labile site, so that on one of the labile site they could incorporate the feature of this iron 3 hydroperoxide, and on the other side they tried to use different molecules that might behave in the similar fashion as these amino acids are doing. So they use water, they use acetic acid, and they use Lewis acid that might assist in the cleavage of this oxygen-oxygen bond to generate iron 5-oxo intermediates. Thank you.
Thank you, Pragya, for this beautiful presentation. Now, the discussion is open to question and answer. If anyone have any question, please ask now.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Who's
Hello.
this?
This is Saif Pragya. Your
Okay.
presentation was very good. So
Okay, thank you.
congratulations. I want to know that why we use this iron 5 species for the oxidation of this alkene, and we can use some other species also. So what is the benefit of this reagent, or what you can say like cytochrome P450? Why we
Okay.
are using these species to do oxidation? Like,
So, let me tell you one thing, that cytochrome P450 is present in our body, which does drug metabolism. Whatever we take, it gets solubilized after getting oxidation. So, cytochrome P450 does that work. It oxidizes the whatever food we take. So, inspired from this design, in the cytochrome P450, the active species is iron 4-oxo radical okay, let me share again. Please make me the host. Shubham. Okay, let me tell you. In cytochrome P450, iron 4-oxo radical cation is the active oxidizing species.
Pragya, you can say now whatever you want. Okay.
Escape key is not working. Okay, and show. Okay. Okay. As you can see in this slide. Okay,
Yes.
so in the cytochrome P450, the active oxidizing species is actually this iron 4-oxo radical cation. It could be, it is actually a formal iron 5-oxo species. So inspired from the nature design and its applications that it can do multiple tasks. So inspired from these application and its oxidizing nature, its tendency to oxidize substrates, these groups try to mimic the natural design and they try to generate iron 5-oxo intermediates. I know oxidation could be done by various reagents, various other reagents, but here the talk is not about how efficient the oxidation is going on. I'm not talking about how efficiently the substrates are getting oxidized. I'm talking about how the nature, how these groups try to mimic the cytochrome P450 design.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I got it. Uh, can you go to slide 2? Slide
Yeah.
2 or 3. After that slide.
Which one?
That one you are doing isotopic.
Do you remember the slide number?
Actually, I don't remember. Okay, okay, leave it.
Okay. Any other
Okay.
question?
Hello, Pragya, this is Subham.
Okay.
First of all, your presentation is very nice, but I have a question from the organic section. Like, I don't know about much more about inorganic chemistry, so please come to the slide number 5.
Yeah.
5 is not 7, sorry. Okay, so in this reaction sequence, you took this molecule and when you try to oxidize by the alkene, so you get the diol and epoxide. So you are emphasizing that this is the steric control reaction, you are getting this cis diol and epoxide ring. But in your structure, it is not clear. It is like a racemic mixture kind of thing.
I agree. I didn't include the stereochemistry part here, but the mechanism that they have shown that how it is converting into cis-diol, that is actually a concerted mechanism. So
Okay.
due to that concerted mechanism, there is formation of this cis-diol.
Epoxide opening is taken from the
No.
uncon-
It is not like epoxide is first form and that is and after that it is opening. It is not like that. So
Okay.
these are two products, both are observed in the considerable amounts. It's not like one is more, one is less. It's not like that.
Okay. So can you show me some means how it's working and how it forms the epoxide in this diol system mechanism?
Yeah, I can. I have that scheme. Okay. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
From the path A, if they're telling that it is occurring by a concerted mechanism, and if it follows path A, it will form the epoxide, and if it follows path B, it will form diol. Okay. I will see after this. It is less time to understand this thing how it is happening. So now leave it. So once in a while you say that there is a two product. One is the acetato, I guess, and one is the second thing.
So acetato compound is minor product and this epoxide is major. So how can you differentiate between these two things?
Actually, in the case of acid assisted mechanism, they found chemoselectivity for the epoxide product.
Okay.
They explained that chemoselectivity via DFT calculations. From DFT, they are telling that once this iron 5 oxoacetato group is acetato intermediate is forming, so the formation of these kind of product is not favorable. They have showed that this is energetically like not a favorable pathway for diol formation, and it is favorable one. So they have explained that by DFT, and I have shown you that by results. Basically, what you do, you see results, and then after you provide explanation why it is happening. So by DFT, they have told something, but since DFT I don't understand much, all I understood that is the energetically energetically that is not favorable. The conversion to hydroxylated product is not favorable. So all I understood was that.
Generally, if we talk about the energy, so in organic system, we have a two product. One is the kinetic and second one is the thermodynamic. The thermodynamic product has a higher energy as compared to the kinetic variable. But if we talk about the stability of product, that time thermodynamically, which is the higher energy that gives the major product. So is there anything in this mechanism? Because if we talk about the energy process, so energy in terms of this system, so if thermodynamic product and kinetic product, the kinetic product has the higher lower energy and thermodynamic took higher energy to proceed the reaction. So on the basis of this thing, if we are getting two things here, so how can we differentiate if we talk about this thing?
Actually, I didn't pay much attention to that. I understood your question. I'll think about this. I'll read those papers again, that how they did that.
And one more last question.
Yeah.
You said iron 4 compound in EPR at there is a EPR signal side. Yes. So iron 4 compound is EPR silent. So what is the meaning of this EPR silent here? Means there is no
It
peak
is
in
in low
EPR?
spin. It is in low spin. Iron 4 oxo, it is in low spin. Iron 4 oxo means it is a D4 system, no? Iron 4.
Okay.
Iron 4 is
Okay.
in D spins, or in T2G, 4 electrons are filled, where 2 are paired and 2 are unpaired. So total spin is equal to S is equal to 1. Since we do
Okay.
perpendicular mode EPR, in that EPR we can't see those spin, those species that have integral spin. We can only see those species which has half integral spin. So that's why it is EPR silent.
Means EPR silent means there is no signal in EPR, no?
Yeah.
Or anything. Okay. Thank you. It's all from my side. Now, anybody asks, so they can ask because we get a subject.
Okay.
Everybody
Yes.
can ask here.
Pragya, now I'm Vishal. So my question is, you get the Fe5. So how you control Fe5? Means it's intermediate step.
So actually, all these reactions are performed at.
It's Fe5. Generally, in normal system we don't get.
Yeah. So what they did, they performed the chemistry at lower temperature. All the chemistry is performed at lower temperature. These EPR studies, and hence they were able to see that species. They didn't isolate it. They just see that species by different spectroscopic techniques. It has not been isolated. It has just been observed via various spectroscopies. It will generate in the reaction mixture.
They perform this reaction.
Just
I want to say that when they do the reaction, they perform the real-time spectroscopic techniques. Means that they perform real-time spectroscopic techniques. Means that when we perform this reaction in any system, particular vial or any system, so they took the real-time spectroscopy for that systems. So they not isolate like that. We have when I am much interested in organic chemistry. So what in organic chemistry we perform this reaction, and we took that sample, and then we will perform some spectroscopic technique and MR, IR, and rest of the thing. So here you can say that we have Fe5 but it is in the reaction mixture. So how you
Yeah, exactly.
know that?
By different spectroscopies that were performed like on that since I haven't worked in the lab, so all I understood was that I have no experience in working with the lab and I have never done these experiments, so I don't think it will be a justice if I'll say something. But I all I understood from the paper is that they isolated these species in the reaction mixture. The species formed, it was so powerful that it is going to decay. It is going to decay, but
Pradnya,
for some
No,
moment of
it's,
the time,
correct.
they,
It's correct because
Pradnya,
they publish it. They publish it. This will happen. But I want to say they perform the real-time spectroscopic technique, or they just do something else. I want
may
to
I
say
add
that
here?
one only.
Hello, hello. May I
Hello.
add here?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, hi. This is Dr. Pushkar,
okay, yes, yes,
and
sir.
I would like to answer that question. Actually, I don't know who
Yes,
asked
sir.
that question. Yeah, but yes, there are different spectroscopic methods by which you can actually do identify such species. Now, the way it usually works is you do a DFT calculation first, and then you come and arrive at a conclusion as to what is the geometry of the molecule, what will be the predicted structure, and based on that, what is the how much is the energy associated with that species. That is the first step. In the next step, you try to
So,
identify.
sir, if we can't isolate these kind of things, so we perform the real-time spectroscopic technique. My question is this.
Yes,
Or
yes,
we,
yes.
first we draw
It
some
is a
model,
real
then
time.
we perform.
It is a real time. It is a real time only. But for that, in order for you to identify that, you have to have a backup of the DFT calculation as well. Okay, in the real time, we have done such kind of spectroscopy. We have done NMR. We have done paramagnetic NMR also, and we have also done UV spectrophotometric identification at -20°C. If you go and read my papers, then maybe you would be able to get some more information on it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. And Pradnya, I have a question for you now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you did mention a lot about your mechanics. So your entire presentation was more of a modeling based, and obviously on the CP. So I would not ask you other mechanistic approaches also. However, regarding the CPs, do you know what is the typical turnaround number of this kind of catalytic chemistry?
Sir, actually, the what I understood from all the studies, the turnover numbers in this slide only, the turnover numbers are mentioned. But I want to say one thing here that the goal was not to see the catalytic function or the efficiency for that. The role was just to identify the iron 5. Is it the iron 5 species forming or not? So whether it is doing a good job or a bad job, if it is doing a good job, then it is good. It could be used like further, it could be used for various application, but to
Sure.
study the, yeah.
No, but my suggestion in that case, if you are doing a research, okay, I don't know what your research topic is, but if you are doing a research in this particular field, and if it is not only for the presentation purpose, then I would suggest that you definitely look at the turnover number also, because the turnover number also gives you a lot of information about the oxidation species if you study it properly.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so because the substrate, what kind of a substrate you use, because you also mentioned the oxidation of cyclohexane somewhere. I vaguely saw it, I think somewhere.
Yeah,
Oxidation of cyclohexane also gives a lot of information about what exactly is the mechanism of the reaction and what is the species, because there is a lot of information that is available regarding the iron oxo species. You can read our work, you can read Christina's work, Christina White. She has done a lot of work in this particular field. And if you are really interested in this particular subject, then I think it will be a good starting points for you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I'll look into those papers and your papers. Thank you. I'll look into this.
It was a good present.
Thank you.
Any other from audience? So I think there is no question left for the presentation. Everybody is satisfied from the Pragya. And Pragya, your presentation really was very much nice, and we also learned some other kind of chemistry, because we are just focusing on the organic chemistry, but your presentation made some kind of the interesting things here. So I would like to thank you, and thank you all of you for your kind attention here. Now everybody can leave.